Hi everyone, it's Romina. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have a super cute manicure for Halloween using chrome powders. So if you're not familiar with this technique, don't worry, I will show you the easiest way of doing this. But if you want to know a little bit more, you can watch a video that I made on how to stamp with chrome powders. In that video, I show you several ways of doing this, so you can try whatever is best for you. And you can kind of like test it and see if you feel comfortable with that technique. There are several ways of doing this, but for the purpose of this video, I really want to go with the simplest way and the faster for me as well. So the first step is always to make your nails matte. That will make them not sticky, and then you can work with powder over that without any issues. And now over that matte surface, I'm gonna stamp as I normally do. So I'm choosing 2 plates, and this is the start of the show. This is the What's Up Nails Fuchsia Chrome Powder. As you can see, it's a very rich color, and even though the container is small, it has a lot of quantity, so it's gonna last forever. And I'm gonna use the stamping polish to do that. So the trick here is honestly work very fast. So the stamping polish will remain wet for a little while, so you have some time to take some powder and just dab it and then rub it on top of the figure that you just stamped. I would recommend you use a fluffy brush just to remove the excess before you continue with the next figure. So I'm doing some bats here. I will do 2 per nail for the 2 nails in the middle, and I will just repeat the process. This is the easiest way of applying this powder, because if you don't have any other tools, you could totally do it with your fingers. If you have a stamper, you can also put the powder on the stamper and then put it on top of the figure. I really like this way of doing it because you can see where you're putting your stamp first and then you put the powder on. There's also a technique where you can put the powder on a stamper and then stamp with the same one, but the only downside is that you're not gonna see where you're gonna place the figure. So for this case, I chose to do it this way, and just remove all the powder that's left before continuing. And if you think that this is too hard, just try it once. It's super simple, and I think it's accessible to everyone. You don't need to have fancy equipment other than a polish to stamp and powders. So it doesn't matter if you do it with a regular polish, but it's gonna dry a little bit faster. So that's why I always recommend that you do this technique at least with stamping polish, so it will remain wet a little bit longer and sticky. And for the other nails, I'm just gonna have a plain color. You could use black, which already looks good, but in this case I'm just gonna go for a full coverage with the powder. And after I apply this polish, I'm just gonna wait around 2 minutes or maybe a little bit longer. And the way to test if this is the right time to apply the powder is that you touch your nails, and if you get like a fingerprint, that will be perfect timing to apply the powder. If the polish is completely dry, it means that you waited too long. And if you have some residue on your finger, it means that it was too wet. So it's a sweet spot, and I think with practice probably and knowing your polishes, you're gonna get to that point. But it's super easy. I'm just gonna rub it on top of the nail, and then I'm just gonna clean it up with a Q-tip and some alcohol. Now the most important part to keep the chrome looking shiny and beautiful is the top coat. So I realized that this is a top coat that works best for me. This is the UNT Peel Off Base Coat. It's a water-based top coat, but be careful. Not all the ones that say they're smudge-free or water-based are gonna work. And it's also very important to put a regular top coat on top of the water-based one just to protect and seal the nails. So here's the result with this top coat. And I want to show you what I did in my other hand, where I used a smudge-free top coat, but it didn't work for the powder. So you can see here that it's a little bit grainy. It lost pigmentation in comparison with my left hand, which is completely fine, beautiful and shiny. So just keep that in mind, and just remember that the powders on the nails that have full coverage here are not gonna last that long. It's very hard to keep them lasting because they're in contact with the tip of the nail, and that gets worn out a little bit. So the chances that water might get into that and start causing damage to the powder are higher. For the ones that have the design, I had them for more than 7 days and nothing happened to them. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!